the world, I see so much suffering, wars, pollution, famine, cruelty, abuse, etc., etc. And they keep on going and saying that it is normal. I think it is sick. I was the first one to tap into the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system and the immune system. Now, if you are able to tap into the immune system to the level of the autonomic nervous system, then you have a much greater control over that what causes disease. Before they asked me to be injected with the E. coli bacteria, same model, they became all sick. 16,134 people. The average all sick. And then I came and I became not sick at all. I want to climb the Kilimanjaro in 3 days with 26 people with all kinds of diseases like cancer, arthritis, Crohn's disease, ulcerosis, asthma, and all that in 3 days in shorts. That's what I said. And then all these doctors, all these physiologists, all these experts in alpinism, they came and said, all these arguments. Oh, it's irresponsible. You cannot do this. People are going to die. We didn't do it in 3 days. We did it in 2 days. All successful. And the oldest person in the first ascent was 65 years with 4 coronary bypasses. And he did it too. She kissed him goodbye and then she jumped from 8 stories down. That is what she did. And because she was suffering from mental disorder, schizophrenia, manic depression, and the whole psychiatry, the world of psychiatry, through all the injections and pills and this and that. If I would have had that knowledge back then with my wife, then I could have treated her naturally. But I had no power then. But I pledged my oath to my wife. If I'm able to get out of this grief, to get out of where you have been, then I will show the world and all the people who are suffering mentally, I will be able to pass on a natural way of how to get out of your grief.
Boom, we're on.
Hey!
Yes.
Here we are.
And today's guest, we've got the Iceman himself, Wim Hof.
Hey, right on, man.
How are you, brother?
Right on. Yeah, great. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And this is my place, as you see, and I will show you around later. But I like your accent a lot. I like the Scotsman's.
Yeah.
I like the Scotsman, and they say I take the high road and what is that?
I don't even know.
Low road?
I don't even know.
I think I take them both to be sure to reach Scotland.
Yeah.
And I think, of Scotland, I always thought about it's the heart. Mm-hmm. It's the heart. It's like the bagpipes. When you feel the bagpipes, you have no fear. You feel you can keep on going.
Yeah.
And that's the way I feel. I want to go to a fearless state of my mind because I'm in the soul. Mm-hmm. That's where I want to go.
You're changing lives, brother. You've done phenomenal things. You've broke over 20 records, world records. You've changed science. You've changed people's opinion of you. You've really went within to make mass changes. And I love that shit. I'm going to be honest. I totally love that. I've been a massive fan of yourself over the last 5 years. We do a lot of cold water exposure in Scotland, all because of yourself. A lot of people struggling with suicide, addictions, people who are battling. You get into the cold water and it takes your pain away for some reason. It's cold as fuck. You lose your testicles, but it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And I have to say, cold water is also good for sex life. So, it's fucking good, as they say,
But you've done amazing things, brother, and first of all, proud of you. But I always go back to the start with my guests, where you grew up and how it all began.
I grew up we are here in the Netherlands right now. Netherlands, just the other side of the Northern Sea. That's where I grew up, near the German border. 1 kilometer from the German border, 12 kilometers from the Belgian border. That means the most narrowest place of the Netherlands, 12 kilometers wide. And there I was born of a family of nine kids, mom, pop. And my father, he worked in the mines, so there was very little money. My mother was like a hen on the eggs, always keeping it real. She always said, act normal, it's crazy enough. And I did that. I loved my mother very much. So we had a little money, but a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun because we played, all of us, and my mother and my father included, a lot of games. Hey, the Highland games. We got the lowland games. There is the low road, you know? Because they say, in French, they say the Netherlands is the Pays Bas. That is the land low, the lowlands. So, yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's it. And that, I think it served the rest of my life.
A loving family.
Yeah, a loving family.
You're a twin, but your mum didn't know.
Yeah.
You were
coming. When I was born, nobody knew that there were no echoscopia, instruments, mechanisms, devices. It was all not there. So they did not detect another one when my twin brother was born. He was the child to be born, and the rest was contractions after. And it was not. It was another child. And then they hurried me, because it was almost too late, to the operation room. And just before entering into the operation room, my mother, who was a pious mother, naive but very strong in her convictions and her beliefs, she said, "Oh God, let this child live. I will make him a missionary." That's what she said in all her agony, in the pain, because they were going to cut into her to get me out. And that fear and that belief pushed me out before I entered into the operation room in the cold of the hall, suffocated almost, purple. And then those words, they must have tattooed upon that little nothing that came out. And it made me different of my twin brother, identical, but I was always seeking for something different. Always different. When I was 12, I was into psychology, Hinduism, Buddhism, esoteric disciplines, yoga, and in those times, that was all unknown. Why is that? Because I had a drive I did not know about within myself, but it colored my life. It was there, and I had to live. I had to go for it. And it took me 5 years, from 12 to 17, when I found cold water in attraction. I was debating and philosophizing again within myself, like I always did. I was a big debater when I was 15, 16, 17. A lot I did. And then I found this attraction to the cold water that day in winter. And then entering into the water in a Sunday morning, I felt this is it. There's not words, but this is it, is a feeling. It's like tilt, it's electrified, something like that. And I felt powerful, playing with the eyes around me, and I felt no pain. That was connection. And that connection brought me back the other day, and it gave me a rush every day since. And very soon I began to find out that deep breathing impacts that made me able to stay longer in the freezing water. I did that for 25 times every time. And then I became very electrified. Carbon dioxide fully out. With the cold, you really go deep. And I could stay for 5 to 7 minutes every day under the ice.
Was that your getaway, Wim?
Oh yeah,
to another
sure.
place. How did people treat you at schooling when you were learning yoga and meditation and breathing?
I always have been a they call it a black sheep. I've been always the black sheep. Now I'm the whitest sheep ever. Now I can show that everybody, hey man, where that guy began, who was different than anybody else, and now he is able to change science as a dropout from school. But it all began when I was young. I always felt different and timid, like within myself, and being pushed therein. And my family, which was poor, like mining, my father was a miner, and then he became invalid because of hernias. He could not work anymore. So the money was even smaller. And then 9 children. That is classic disaster if you don't rule well over that. But that's my mother. My mother was the greatest. Thing is, when you have a little money and you are different, then you have no way to express yourself. You don't know what's happening. But the trauma of my birth had made my stigma, my chains within. My psyche was different, and I did not know how to connect or have control over that. I didn't know what happened at the time of my birth. My mother later told me everything. But when you begin to do differently things because you feel so, then everybody begins to stigmatize you and say, he is doing strange things. He's no good. You don't mingle with him. Just keep him outside and all. That becomes a real force because you feel like alone.
Alone or crazy.
Alone. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And but I went on anyway. And when I was 17, I lived in Amsterdam in a squatting place. I had no money. Squatting place, no money, just for gas and electricity, like less than 50 euros a month. I had no wages, no money. I got money there, a little bit here, and working there, things like that. But a very happy place. Why? Because it was a building, a squatting place with free thinkers. People who are not into careers and all that. No, they settle there and being together, much more together. The world out there is too individualized, competing, following protocol, following a set of regulations instead of living. But there I was, 17, found myself into the water that Sunday morning, and I felt connection, deep connection. And that deep connection made me go since then, and that is 44 years ago when I started with my ice bathing, going into the cold, finding a deep connection with the physiology in the depth 44 years ago. And that since then, I did it every day. Like this morning, I was 20 minutes here in the barrel. It's full of ice. I got a freezer. I may chop the ice, get it in, mingle it. It's a soup. And then it becomes really cold. I go in, 20 minutes. I love it. I did it. Then I felt this is it. Began to develop very soon. I developed breathing exercises because for the first time you feel the need to breathe deep. When you go into cold water, it is that is logical. But we in society, we live shallow, in shallow breathing. Because there is no need, there is no forces, environmental stress coming to you. So you learn to just breathe shallow. And that creates a lot of disconnection of the deeper physiology, which is logical. If you don't feed yourself in the depth, then it's not fat. Then it doesn't grow. That is connection. It's all neurology in the end and the hormonal system. Now we know, but before I did not know. I was driven through my trauma from my birth. And then I got connection. And then, of course, everybody was saying, that man is crazy. He is going into freezing water in the winter. And he is walking out for hours outside, barefoot in the snow. He's doing all kinds of exercises. He is crazy. This is not normal. he must be out of his mind and all that. But I just felt good. So whenever you feel good, it's like when you love somebody, even if the whole family, Romeo and Juliet, are against each other making war, they still want to be together.
Yeah. I think that's a powerful message as well, because I watch so many of your videos, guys like David Goggins, Joe Dispenza, whether he's running 200 miles while you're swimming underwater, holding your breath in ice cold waters. Joe Dispenza says he fixed his spine as well. When you actually break it all down, it just comes down to the power of the mind and what you believe up here. Do you think having that trauma from birth and then kind of being the outsider all your life, did you ever question that maybe I am crazy and that I'm going to take a step back, or did it just feel so right for you? You were so connected that I don't give a fuck what anyone says. This is me, accept me, or get the fuck out my way.
Yeah, exactly. Get the fuck out of my way, but let the love come in. And the love came in. And the only thing that made sense to me, when I was 12, I made a pledge to myself. I see the world, I see so much suffering, wars, pollution, famine, cruelty, abuse, etc., etc. And they keep on going and saying that it is normal. I think it is sick. So I pledged there within myself, deeply within myself, I'm going to do something about it. What? I did not know. But I followed it. So, and I kept on being so different and so suppressed because of that. And now look at where the world is, in full of confusion. It's polluted. And what we don't have love, because what we give to our children is production, not nature. Production, not health. Production, not happiness. Production, and more, and exploiting at the cost of others. And that is not love. So we don't love our children because we are forced to be in a system that is parasiting upon our energy, and we don't no longer know what is real love, the purpose of life anymore. And this is the crisis within the world. And I tell you, because me talking like this, everybody was saying, yeah, he's a hippie or something. And then I said, okay, let the scientists come. Hey, I will show that I can beat disease. I can show how to beat inflammation. I can show how to beat that what causes depression. I can beat all these things. I can train the best of the world to become better within 1 week than the ceiling where they have been, being the best in the world, like Olympics, MMA fighters. They all come, and within a week, I make them better. Why? Because we always lived according a certain kind of thinking paradigm, which has come from the schools. And in the schools, they teach you about history, about language, about mathematics, but they should actually teach our children to be happy and strong and healthy. And that is the core and the essence. And they forgot about it, and they don't know about it. And I'm a dropout of school, but I changed science fundamentally. I will, because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. The schooling is I don't believe in the schooling, the curriculum at school, because you're told to sit at a desk from 9 to 3 years old, and then you go into an office 9 till 5, you're there 60 years.
Yeah.
You should be about love, compassion, yoga, meditation, breathing techniques, how to handle money, relationships, even death. We don't speak about death enough, because when someone dies, it spirals us out of control. We then mask it with alcohol, drugs, whatever it is, overeating, anger. It's to try and understand that this is life. Shit does happen, but we are in control in how we handle it afterwards. Life can be beautiful. A prime example, we're all a bit little loopy. Every single person is, and people who judge and call you crazy, that's the ones who really need the love, because then it's a reflection of image. People get scared of other people's success. People get scared of how far other people can go to the extremes. So they then question it, why can't I do that? But everybody can, no matter if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 70s or 80s, whatever age you are, you can make changes to better your life, to become a better person, to make the people around you become better. Life is beautiful. Don't get me wrong, it's a little fucked up. I do have my moments where I think, what the fuck is this about? What am I doing here? But I know what I'm doing is creating awareness. Having men like yourself on is creating more awareness. And yes, it's beautiful. And for what you've achieved is second to none. But this is only the beginning, because you always raise the bar. You always set new heights to keep proving people wrong. And I think that's where you strive more, when people say that you can't do it. So when you started going through your transition at 17 and understanding the ice is where I feel alive, what was the process of your life like then after that?
After I just began to do this, that what makes me feel good, I will keep on doing. It's like they say, you are a donkey. I don't feel the ears. I don't feel a tail. And what I do makes me feel good. So I think you also, maybe sneakingly or whatever, you do what makes you feel good. Only it could collide with the regulations. It could collide with the way we are taught to be. That could be a collide with. But my thing is, what I do is like natural drugs. If you go into the cold is my teacher. It's merciless but righteous. And it gives me all the energy afterwards. It trains my cardiovascular system, which is 100,000 kilometers inside everybody of us. Killer number one in our society's cardiovascular related diseases still. And how can you tackle it? I say, just keep it simple. Cold shower a day keeps the doctor away. But back then, I just felt it. From I was 17, I did all the cold practices every day, every winter. And then at a certain moment, I was doing 5 to 7 minutes under the ice, breathing exercises. They really brought me into the depth. And then I discovered the secrets of our neurology, the electricity system of ours, the nervous system, and how to work with it. All what they talk about in these esoteric books of the yoga, of the chakras, and the mystical ways and all. When I was reading it, I don't get any of it because I don't experience it. It's there. It must be somewhere. 20 years of training. No, it took me a couple of months to get really into myself, into the deepest, into all the lights, all the chakras, all the mysticism. And from there, of course, that practice, I never let go. I always practiced. I always did that. And then I combined it with stretching, like splits, and staying a whole night outside in shorts in wintertime, just finding out, following my feeling. And brought me, when I was 23 or 22, I met my wife, my future wife, and that she was, not only pretty, she was amazingly vivid and very expressive and talkative and just a beautiful being. You fall in love and you fall and you keep on falling and you want to go and you fly. That's where I met her. And a year later, she was gone first, 3/4 of a year, and then we met again. And from there, a year we lived without sex, and then suddenly, boom! There, in 4 times sex, I had my oldest son. You probably know him through the mail or something, but he is now working with me. With that woman, I only had 50 times sex during 15 years. That is very little.
Why is that?
Why? Because it was enough.
Connection?
A connection was bloody there. And it's not based in too much sex or porn or this or that. It was fulfilled in whatever way it was. I had 4 children with her. Within the 15 times sex, 4 children. And that was good. I felt always full. Later, I had a different relationship. I had sex every day, so 3 times a day. Hey, man, I can whatever I feel, I follow.
Yeah.
So 15 years I was with that woman until the day when she jumped from, after kissing her 4 children goodbye from the age of 7 to 12 years. She kissed them goodbye, and then she jumped from 8 stories down. That is what she did. And because she was suffering from mental disorder, schizophrenia, manic depression, and the whole psychiatry, the world of psychiatry, through all the injections and pills and this and that, because it was declining a mental state of years before. Like 10 years after we had 4 children, and then 10 years after the first was born, 31, the decline began. She went to the doctors, etc. Nobody could help her. And that is a very important point in my life, because I lost a love of my life, the mother of my children, the one with whom I should have been all my life. She went away. I was broken inside, but I had no time nor to heal, nor to sit there with my grief, because I had 4 children, very little money left behind. There I was. And I always say my children made me survive. The cold healed me, because the cold, the intense pain of going into freezing water makes you shut up in your mind, makes you survive. That was the only moment I got stillness in my mind, only possibility to get peace in my mind, and that broke the loop. That broke the loop of the grief, of the grieving, and thus I began to regain myself. Became very energetic, a lot of energy. I became Papa and Mama. From 35 years on, that is 26 years ago. And yes, a lot of energy with the kids, being little money, and trying. I began to ride, began to garden, began to become a mountain guide. I did, and there the challenges came. And when the challenges came, I said to the television, who came to me first, through a newspaper article where I said, I go into the ice all the time because I love it and I love do exercising and all this. Nobody believed it, and they got it into the newspaper. And then television came. And television is crazy because they begin to challenge you. So when they challenged me, I could do everything. I got 26 world records, but numerous more challenges done. And they are all led to the extremes of what a mind and a body is able to do, even past what in science was thought possible, physiologically possible. So I did all these television shows, the National Geographic, Discovery Channel, and more and more and more. I don't know. I probably have done 50 to 100 documentaries now, from BBC to the 2020 to National Geographic, whatever. I did it all. But now they are going to make a Hollywood film next year.
Love it.
On top. Why is that? That is because I gained to something. 3 years ago, I was in Detroit in the brain scans. And they gave me cold water upon the skin. I could do nothing. Just use my mind. And I made the skin temperature not going down. That is the power of the mind, having physical consequences in the body to defy stress coming in, just using the mind. This was unknown in psychiatry. If I would have had that knowledge back then with my wife, then I could have treated her naturally. But I had no power then. But I pledged my oath to my wife. If I'm able to get out of this grief, to get out of where you have been, then I will show the world and all the people who are suffering mentally I will be able to pass on a natural way of how to get out of your grief, how to bring your spouse or husband out of there and be a good parent.
Yeah. Was that your breaking point then? Well, when you lost the love of your life, thinking you could have went two ways, either went the same way,
easy,
or I'm going to push myself to the extreme limits now. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, I watch a lot of inspirational people. When you actually break it all down, they have all felt severe trauma where they think, fuck it, and just push themselves to the extreme limits. I don't know if that's to maybe block out some of the pain still.
Yeah, sure.
Or to maybe find the answers. How is it now for you to, when you know the information and looking back thinking, because I believe pharmaceutical kill more people than any other drug in the world. So how does it feel now knowing that you know some answers to how to change the mindset, to control your temperature? Some people have cured cancer, some people have cured depression, addictions through cold water exposure. Now you have this information. How does it feel looking back thinking that people were getting lied to take this, but yet your wife still committed suicide? First of all, I was want to say as well, sorry for your loss.
You come from Scotland,
yeah,
and I know that you know the film with Mel Gibson,
Braveheart,
who's an Australian. You know, give me back my son, or the freedom in Scotland, and we fight. All those things. This is what happens when a simple man is being broken down. And has to kneel for the train of every day keep on going. Well, he lost his wife and why? And he could not do anything. A man like that can be touched so deeply that he is going to find the answers. The whole world of psychiatry and medical care and the whole system is incapable of. And that is not science through schooling. Because I'm a dropout, but I'm teaching psychiatrists, doctors, professors all over the world. Why? Because I had a genuine broken heart. I had a genuine simple mind just to be happy and strong and healthy and take care of my children. And they didn't let me. The society didn't let me, and it has no name and it has no person. You cannot talk to it, but it is still ongoing. So I did something about it. And how? I did not know. But I began to rise and began to walk my steps little by little. And when the television came, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you climb Mount Everest in your shorts? Can you swim under the ice big distances? Can you run a marathon beyond the polar circle? I can do it all, because compared to a grieving heart, it is nothing.
Yeah, powerful stuff, brother. So because you went to Kilimanjaro and you took people who were ill, people who could hardly walk and stuff, and you
amazing what I can teach now. Yeah.
How long did it take to teach them to go this walk?
Just 4 afternoons. Imagine. Take the comparison. What physiologically is possible in mountaineering, and say the Kilimanjaro, which is almost 6 kilometers high, takes about 5 to 9 days fully dressed, with a lot of layers, because it's very cold up there. Yeah? And then still it takes 5 to 9 days, and then only 40% will succeed. Summit. Yes? Those are the numbers. We did it, and we did it in 20 and a half hours. That is 4.5 hours more than 1 day, in shorts. And wait a minute, and not only me, the oldest participant, without former experience in mountaineering, suffering from Lyme's disease, he did it in 31 hours in his shorts. He has no Lyme's disease anymore. He has a deep connection inside. He used his mind consciously and his breathing. And he did it. 76 years old, suffering from Lyme's disease. In shorts, no former experience in mountaineering, he did it. He's healing a lot of people with Lyme's disease right now because he found this deep connection. How many days did I train with him? 4 afternoons. And I say, you better do your homework. That means you do some running and you go and challenge yourself. Follow your feeling, because the Kilimanjaro is going to come. And it's going to kill you. It's going to torture you if you didn't do well within your homework. And they all understood.
Yeah.
It was not only here. There were people with cancer. There were people with Crohn's disease, arthritis, with asthma, with depression. All. One thing in common they had. That was motivation. That there is more than meets the eye. And they all did it.
Amazing. So why do you think, what's your opinion, why do you think depression's on the rise, addictions, suicide, heart attacks is on the rise, cancer's on the rise?
It's logical. Suicide, for example. A lot of people who want to commit suicide. They alienated so much of their own life force. They are like not living. Something is pulling them out of the consciousness, the awareness of their own life force. This is the way our society got us into televisions, into cars, into traveling, into always out. Amen. Inside there is an unconditional power that makes you not need anything or need very little. That inner peace exists. It's no longer a mystical experience. It is, but it's not far away. It is here and now. And here we got it. And the margin therein is enormous. You can keep the bullshit really out of you. Because we did the science now. We did the science and showed how to connect with the depth of our brain. And once you are able to go into the deepest of the brain consciously, then where else can you not go? Yeah. We have not learned how to own our own mind. And now we bring this to the people. And you do this through this platform, through the urge, the instinctive urge to bring life itself to the people. And remember them through very interesting people all over the world who have gone their mile, past their fear, into the unknown, which should be known. Because mysticism is not about thinking, it's about feeling. And you should feel tremendously good every day, because that's who you are by birthright. So there we are, bringing it here. Like in the beginning of the conversation, we have no structure. We have no protocols. We don't follow a question, number one question. It pops up. And we just go with our thinking into this mystical experience where there is no thinking, where all the answers are there. So no questions anymore.
Go with the flow.
Go with the flow. Yes, sir.
So when the TV started coming along, newspapers, magazines, radio, did they ever try and embarrass you at the start or ridicule you?
Oh yeah, in the beginning, of course, they called me the ice rabbit. In the beginning, yeah. Before that, the crazy man, and an idiot. And one who's shouting out so much is all not good. They tried, many of them. Let me tell you. This is a story that exemplifies the way it was. So I sat out in public saying, I want to climb the Kilimanjaro in 3 days with 26 people. With all kinds of diseases like cancer, arthritis, Crohn's disease, ulcerosis, asthma, and all that in 3 days in shorts. That's what I said. And then all these doctors, all these physiologists, all these experts in alpinism, they came and said, all these arguments. Oh, it's irresponsible. You cannot do this. People are going to die. It takes 5 to 9 days. And fully dressed. And if you have no clothes, it's too cold up there. There is no oxygen. Less than half. People are going to die, especially people with cancer and arthritis. What are you doing? Irresponsible. We are not going to link with this expedition whatsoever. Don't do it. Arguments. We didn't do it in 3 days. We did it in 2 days. All successful. And the oldest person in the first ascent was 65 years with 4 coronary bypasses. And he did it too. Amen. When I came back in the Netherlands, I did not hear anybody. And there is really no problem with my hearing. When I went back in the Netherlands, I did not hear any of those doctors who had millions of arguments why it was to show why it was all not good and irresponsible, based on scientific arguments and logic. And now I did not hear them. They at least could have said and asked, how did you pull it off? This is unknown. This is amazing. Of course, those arguments are legit, but what you guys have done must be then outside of what is scientifically discovered. Because 65 years old, 4 coronary bypasses, going in 3 days in shorts, up Kilimanjaro to 6 kilometers. Cancer and Crohn's disease and arthritis. Oh, the joints. So, no, they felt great. At least they could have asked, how did you pull it off? Possibly there are a number of answers of what we are capable of and what we do not know in science up till now to solve problems which we have, like arthritis, Crohn's disease, ulcerative, coronary bypasses, cancer. We don't know the answers. And here you go with them and do it in record time. Into the unknown, because it was not known before. I said 3 days. It became 2 days. In 48 hours. That was the first ascent I did with a group of people. And that's the way people are. When then you come back and you show that all those arguments do not count in that, then you really rumble the foundations of their beliefs. Then they become fearful. Then they are not able to get you. So that's what I found out.
Did no one ever come forward to apologise and say sorry
No.
for calling you crazy?
No.
Sorry for doubting your methods?
Exactly, no.
No one.
And there
How
is
did
more.
that make you feel?
Man, this makes me...
Does that give you the fire to keep pushing forward?
Exactly. Yes, of course. Of course. And I will keep on. I know my enemy. My enemy is ignorance. Ignorance and a careless being. And I will not succumb to it. I'm not attacking it. I think people have a rightful right to be that way if they like to. I just keep on going to show a non-dogmatic, scientifically endorsed method that makes people able to reach their deeper self no matter what. Really endorsed by experience, science, and sense. And there I am, there I stay. I know now my enemy. I know my enemy will backfire at me first or attack me. And then when I prove them wrong, they will be not there. Because they flee like the rats.
Yeah.
Because that's the real true nature
That's what that's what weak people do, though. Do you become a threat then, Wim? See, for the man who's changing science, for the man who's creating nature to be your medicine to help cure people, help people. When you were getting injected by a virus, did you ever question that? What if they were trying to kill you, or what if people were out to get you? Because potentially you could become a threat for the pharmaceutical companies who make billions per year, trillions. So
I think they are cowards. They are cowards, and they got maybe money, but they are cowards by themselves.
But did you ever question that?
Yeah, of course I did. The first time I was on television, National Report, like the journal of the day, saying I was the first one to tap into the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system and the immune system. Now, if you are able to tap into the immune system to the level of the autonomic nervous system, then you have a much greater control over that what causes disease. So, I possibly at that moment was a great danger. Not anymore, because now millions of people, you got to kill millions of people doing this method now. And that's it. But back then, I was the first one to show in medical history to tap into the autonomic nervous system and immune system. That means the perspective of what we as humans at will are able against a disease has completely changed. That means a lot of clients will go from the pharmaceutical